Guys, I'm stoked. Lilly is my bestest friend in the whole world. She's the maid of honor of my wedding. Not only was she that, she was my teammate for 3 years at Purdue. She was a year younger than me. So I graduated in 2015 and Lilly graduated in 16.
Mhm.
She's an all Big Ten pitcher. And when we played, everybody was scared of her. Let me tell you. They were prepping their machines on the rise ball all week just to prepare for Lily's rise. And I know this is a hitting academy and we're talking to a pitcher today, but I thought it would be kind of fun to also get her perspective on how pitchers are setting themselves up for you and talk about somebody who has to be super competitive. I think if you play this sport in general, you have to be competitive, but to have that edge as a pitcher is something we can all learn from too. So Lily, can you just start with sharing a little bit about your journey growing up? Like, when did you decide you wanted to be a pitcher? How did that look for you and your dad and training? Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So, I would say obviously like growing up, played a lot of different sports. So I feel like that was a really big thing just in terms of the competitiveness and wanting to do it all and be really good and all that at a lot of different things. And when I think it was like middle school time frame was when I had more so decided, I guess a little bit before that, that I really wanted to focus in on softball, still playing other sports, but really focus in on that and wanted to get better at pitching, which obviously I'm on a camera right now, but in person. I'm over 6 feet tall. And so whenever people look at me, they're like, you have to be a pitcher, you know? So that was one of the big things that just kind of mechanically it made sense to go down that path. And then I realized that I am hyper competitive, really love, being the start of every play, getting up there and facing the batter and kind of being able to like, if you're doing your job correctly, control the game a little bit. Um, and so I'd say it was from a pretty young age that just in general have always been competitive. Family is very competitive. My dad played baseball and he was also a pitcher. So he and I really talked to the game a lot, caught for me growing up, and really talked not only about mechanics and how to physically pitch, but also the mental game of it that we all know. And I know Ash, I was about to say Burke, but Ash is really big on the mental game. That's also huge for pitching. So he and I got really close talking about just the mentality and the competitive fire that you need to be able to get in there and face somebody. And it doesn't always turn out how you want it to. And you have to be able to bounce back immediately and throw the next pitch. So yeah, I feel like that it all just kind of started from the beginning, from a young age, and morphed its way as I got a little bit older. Learned that I was pretty good at this, and that always makes it a little bit more fun when you're able to find success and just continue to strive to making yourself better.
Yeah. So just for context, you guys, Lily's presence on the mound and her body language could tell you a lot um, about how she was able to make a lot of hitters nervous. Like, raise your hand. Can you see everyone, Lil? I hope you
Yes.
can.
Yes.
Raise your hand, you guys, if you have ever been nervous to face a pitcher based on like their body language, like the way they look at you, the way they walk, the way their presence, their routine, all of that. Okay, so Lily was like the epitome of this, and I'm not just saying that because she's my friend. I'm dead serious. Like when she came in and I was a sophomore, a lot of our preseason was trying to like we hit off of our pitchers a lot. And she was the one where you're just like, I don't want to hit off of her. Like at first, you're just like, I'm nervous because she has all these dominant pitches. She looks like she's going to eat my face off. And it's like that whole dominant presence is like exactly what I think every pitcher and every player in general needs to have if you want to be great. So to have that presence, and I know you said your dad like helped you with that, but like from even just like a body language standpoint, Like, were you practicing this early on, or how did you learn how to like hide? You know, if you had fear, I would have never known it, but I know everybody has fear at some point in time. But like, how are you able to work on that, you know, growing up?
Yeah, I feel like the body language really ties into confidence and showing it outwardly, but also confidence in yourself, in your stuff, and knowing that even if you aren't having like the absolute best day, you still have confidence that like I'm here, I'm able to get the job done. I've been in this situation at some point also in my life. You know, there's always a time where it's like you have a runner on first base and they're the winning run, and or third base even like more high stress, that like they're the winning run, and so you have to be prepared for that. But I think too, just an interesting thing of, obviously this is a hitting camp or, you know, conversation, but on the flip side, I'm sure Ash has been talking about, you know, when you step into the box that like your, you know, your job, your goals, what you need to do to be successful. And it's pretty much the exact opposite on the pitching side, that when you step onto the mound, that I came in with a mentality of this is my plate, this is my zone to control. And this hitter isn't going to beat me. And if they manage to get a hit, it's going to be an out. And if they manage to actually get, you know, on base, I have confidence in my defense that we're able to make the plays, get the outs that we need. But I'm going to step right back up there and make the next pitch work so that I'm going to put my team in the best position to win. So it truly is that every pitch, every out, every time that you get the ball in your hand, it's your time to get your job done and have confidence that you know what you need to do in order to be successful. And having that mentality is what shines through of the body language that you're talking about, and kind of the intimidation factor, which I should add as well. There's other things that you can do too, to kind of have that intimidation, which like you have the stare down that, you know, you're talking about. But one of the things that Ash and I did was that she did my eye black for me for every game, which is just another fun thing that it kind of is like you put on your game face, truly. And that was a fun one for me as well, to kind of bring that level up a little bit more.
I didn't even think about mentioning that, but that's so true. Like we both wore eye black the same.
Yes.
And I don't know if like you felt the same way, like when you put it on, or when I guess I put it on you, it kind of felt like I was putting on like an alter ego a little bit.
Yeah, it's game time. We're ready.
Like
Yeah.
a tiger type of mentality. And like, it's funny because if people were to say, like, yeah, I played against Lily, I played against Ashley, like they're very intimidating people and they don't know us outside of the game,
Yeah.
they would think that we're just like jerks, right?
Mhm.
But then, like, if you would see, you guys get to see the two of us in a room, like, we are the fun. I don't want to say the funniest people ever, but we are just like
Funny.
joking off, like having fun, like just happy-go-lucky people. But nobody
Mhm.
would know that, you know, in the middle of a game.
Yeah,
And
and
I
I feel like that's the big thing too of like when you are on the field, you want to have that game face and that ready to play mentality, competitiveness. But when the game's done, you can be a like nice person, right? You know, like that's the other thing too of like separating that of, okay, I'm here to play, it's time to shine, it's time to compete, and then game's done, and now I'm not going to be upset and angry and like, you know, again be, well, you know, of course you gotta feel the competitiveness and all of that, but then it's like, okay, now we move on to the next piece of life, and you have to be able to like still be a decent human being as well.
right, which
Yeah.
our parents raised us very well. And I will say every girl in this academy, I've gotten to know them and their families have been, it's like, you guys are all doing a great job with that part.
Love to hear that. Good job.
You're great human beings here. But I want to kind of give the floor a little bit to pitchers, because raise your hand, pitchers that are in this conversation. Okay.
Woo.
Raise your hand, catchers. Where are my catchers at? Because there's a
Yeah.
couple too. So not to exclude anybody else. I was neither of them either. Okay. So we're all on the same boat there. But I think we would be doing a disservice to this conversation if we didn't talk a little bit about some of those like specifics. Um, let's start with relationship pitcher to catcher. Okay.
Mhm.
So how important is that? And how is that something that you worked on building? Because you've pitched to multiple catchers in your career.
Yep.
When you could think about like your favorite catchers you've thrown to, like what are the things that they're doing? And what are the things that you did to help develop that strong relationship?
Yeah. Well, I guess for the first question, it's a very important relationship. And I think the biggest piece of it is trust because you're flinging a ball at this person, at the catcher, as hard as you can and trying to make it move all over the place. And so I think, recognizing that they are your other half and are there to be the other half of the team to make your pitches like look the best, of course, but also are, talking with the umpire, having that repertoire, like rapport, building that, framing your pitches, kind of getting beat up a little bit back there. That they're there to, help continue to control the game. And so I think in the best catchers that I played with, typically were like strong voices and were, I don't want to say like energetic because I don't know that that's necessarily the right term for it, but just knew how to manage the pitcher first off. Like if you start to get flustered, if you throw three balls in the dirt or way over their head, that they know how to manage your emotions, but also they're the eyes that see everybody on the field. So not only are they the other half of the pitching duo, but they're also the ones that can see everybody on the field and are aware of all of that. So I think having just a strong voice and maybe leadership, I guess is a better word than like the energy. But I think that's the biggest thing. And then just kind of like building that trust and rapport with them through continuing practice. Like don't always pitch to the same catcher every day. Make sure that you're rotating in because you never know what the situation is going to be. Somebody gets hurt, somebody's having an off day, whatever. That you want to make sure you're comfortable to let that rise ball go. And if it's one that's meant to be out of the zone, that it's out of the zone and your catcher is going to be there for you. So I'd say that those are probably like the biggest things. There's obviously a lot more that goes into it, but really just like that trust and that voice of reason for you.
And I think what you did a phenomenal job was too, is you were very communicative on the mound. Like when your catcher did
Yes.
something great, you were like, yes, Fletch, like way to
Yeah.
go, way to get that. But you also did that to your full defense. And I think that is one way, and pitchers take notes here, like this is where you can start developing trust with your defense in entirety, like not just the catcher. Because
Mm-hmm.
when my pitcher roots for me for diving for that ball in foul territory,
Yeah.
playing first base, I'm like, I got her back, and then she knows that I have her back. I know that she's got mine. And like it's that unity. Sorry, these lights are really bothering me. It's that unity on the field that allows the team to make plays that like some teams aren't making, you know? And
Yeah.
I think it does kind of start with the pitcher because you, like you said, you like pitching because you have control. Raise your hand, pitchers, if you like pitching because you have control, like full control of the game. I know that come from Presley before.
Yes.
Um, she's like, I love the ball in my hand. I love that. Like
Mhm.
that's the competitiveness, and that's what I think
Yeah.
you have to have as a pitcher. But when you have that control, you also have to control the tempo
Mhm.
and communicating with everybody to your left and your right, which was easy for me because I was on your, I guess, technical left as
Yes.
your baseman. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to share, like, obviously we were very close. But I kind of felt like I was like a little bit of your wingman over there,
Heck yeah.
which was a role that I really love to play. And yes, I can't just say you were the only pitcher that I liked playing behind, but I loved playing behind you because One, like when I made a great play, you made sure I knew it. But two, I just felt like because of our friendship outside of the field,
Hmm.
I knew when you were starting to get a little bit rattled, and you also knew when I was starting to get a little bit rattled.
Yes.
Um, so like, are there any moments from like our college career where you're like, I know I was getting rattled, and this is what Berkey did. That was my nickname, you guys.
Hmm.
Did to kind of like get me a little looser.
Yes. And so I mean, yeah, that's like all part of the game. Obviously, you come in and you're talking about all these like great things that we've done together. Not to say that there weren't some lows of this, which
Lows, you guys. We had
yeah.
lows.
Which also is part of the game, of course, but I feel like it's literally every time that we played at Northwestern was just always such a struggle. Um, and so I distinctly remember this because basically anything that's hit in the air is out of the park. Like the fences were short, it's a wind zone there. It was wonderful for our hitters, not so great for a pitcher. And I was like, yeah, I got an out. It's a pop fly to right field, and it's like, boom, it's out of the park. And you're like, how did that happen? You know, just what's going on here? And I still remember Burke walking over to me, and she just like kind of you did like a little like waddle thing. You like did something funny as you were walking up and you just go, "Hi." So did you hear I can't you like just told some joke, but you were just like being goofy and just trying to like make light of it because she could tell I was pissed that I was like, that is an out anywhere else you play. Like, why is this a home run? And so just like keeping it light, keeping it goofy, you know, this is a game and it's meant to be fun, although there's a lot of times that it's not as fun or, you know, like after you just give up a home run, it's not super fun. Um, and so yeah, I feel like that's just kind of joking, keeping it light, but still like just reading the room of you kind of knew what I needed at that time. And then you kind of refocus and you're like, okay, next batter, that's done. Can't change it. And gotta wipe it clean and now on to this next batter. So
I
yeah.
think my favorite thing to do with you was like when I could tell you were either like mad about a call or like whatever happened in the game. I'd be like, all right, what's gonna make Lily laugh right now? Like sometimes I would draw something in the sand. I would go up to you and I'd just be like, hey, your shoe's untied, like left shoe
Yeah.
untied or something. Like just that my goal was to distract you. My goal was to like have you forget about the fact that yes, something not great just happened, but also it's a game. And like
Right.
and to be honest, like I think you guys are listening to two of the most competitive people you'll ever meet.
Mhm.
Yes, we are competitive, but we also have to keep reminding ourselves that it is a game and like things are not going to go our way all the time. And
Mhm.
when that happens, if we have a good head on our shoulders and we can believe we can do the next play, just like and move on, that's the key, you guys. And it's like the people, the hitters, the defenders that can make adjustments the fastest are the ones who win the most,
Totally.
statistically everywhere.
And that's something that it's a skill that you can continue to leverage later on in your life of that resiliency to like bounce back and dig deep and know how to make adjustments on the fly and just roll with the punches because you might not be able to change the situation, but you can change like the next step and how you react to it and how you move forward.
Mm-hmm. You guys, now that I'm thinking about it, because we have like 8 minutes left, if you guys have specific questions that you want to ask Lily or I or both of us together, you can write it in the chat box. And if you want to ask it in person, like if you want to unmute yourself and ask in person, just like put like a star next to it, you know, like the little star, and then I'll let you ask the question if you want, or you could just like raise your hand. Because I think if you raise your hand for a certain amount of time, it like shows up on the Zoom ready. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
I know. And then I can lower it. Oh my gosh. Dude,
Very
Arnie is ripping things around this basement right now. This is one of Lily's best friends. This is
Yes, he's my bestie. Not
yeah.
actually Burke. I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding.
But before I open up the floor to you guys, I wanted to just like bring up the fact that softball is only a tiny part of our lives. Okay. It's like, it's a tiny piece. And even though I'm still working in softball, I'm still doing a podcast, I'm still working with you guys, I still do in-person lessons. At the end of the day, it's my relationships and my family and my faith. Like these are things that have nothing to do with softball that mean the most to me. And you guys are playing this game and you are building friendships for life right now. Like, and I want you guys to understand that um, the relationships piece is the thing that every athlete that I ask that is retired or even like maybe they're Olympians still playing, and and they get the question of like, what made you love the sport? Most of the time they're going to say it's the people.
Mhm.
Okay. So at the end of the day, when this game gets really serious and really scary, and some of you guys want to go off and play in college, don't forget this piece. Okay. Yes, you have to be selfish in a way to become as great as you possibly can. If you want to be as great as you possibly can in this sport, there is that selfish element of like, I need to be great. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't come at the expense of the people that you get to compete with and against. I should say with more because I don't think I'm best friends with anybody I competed against very often, but um, the
Okay.
people that are to your right and your left are going to matter the most. And like Lily is that person for me. She's my person. I FaceTimed her with my son earlier today. Like she gets me, and I guarantee you guys have a list of people that you play with that you're like, these are my people and these are my go-to people. Cherish those and really take care of those relationships. Okay. Because I can't say I was best friends with everybody that I played with. Lily knows that for a fact. Like, you guys, like, think of and maybe just take a few seconds and write down those people, like the ones that you're thinking of right now, that you're like, if they could be in my wedding one day, or if they, if I could be friends with them for 100 more years, like, who are those people? And again, through softball is the key element here. But write down those people, and I'm going to challenge you guys as your challenge of the day to go and just like write a little text message to them and just be like, hey, I was thinking of you today. Like, how are you doing? Or, hey, good luck in your tournament that you're playing this weekend. Or, can't wait to play with you next week, or whatever it is. Go text those people that you're writing down. Can we do that today? Right after this call? I know it might be a little nerve-wracking to do it, but I'm telling you, this relationship with this woman right here is not going anywhere. It's going to be a forever thing. And I think that's the beauty of this game.
Totally. I absolutely agree with that. That's something that we chatted about a little bit earlier that we're like, wow, it's been, I mean, like 15 years that we've known each other, which is crazy, but we spent every day together for 3 years straight and competed against each other in high school, travel ball, and then became really fast friends. And I guess we really saw each other for 4 years because my senior year, you were still on campus. Um, Yes. And so yeah, it's really cool just how the game is amazing, and it's so sad that it's like a short period of time that you can truly play it because it was our entire world for 18, 20 years of our life. And then you're like, wow, okay, I have to, like join the real world. But you get to look back on all these like amazing relationships that you formed, all these awesome places you went, like still thinking about all the fun road trips and traveling in the airports, and just everybody would see Burke and I walking together in our Purdue gear and be like, oh, I didn't realize basketball or volleyball like was still in season. And we're like, no, we're softball. But everybody would always guess, see the two tallest people on the team and just be like, oh, volleyball, basketball, check. Um, and so yeah, those are definitely like memories to cherish. And when you get to see the people like in person after now living all over the country and not near each other, it's so nice to be able to catch up and see them all. So absolutely cherish the times that you do have together because it's awesome, and make sure you continue to keep in touch with those that are your people that you guys just wrote down.
Another funny story that made me think of when we were at the airport is we all had to wear these travel outfits, like
Oh
the whole,
no.
like Lily and I were so tall, like
Yes.
we have to get the largest sizes, and we still wore our pants and they were like floods. Like
Yeah,
literally we would stand straight up and they would be above our ankles. And
they
we're
were
like,
like this short and it was not stylish.
no, not at all.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, those things are the things that we remember forever. We don't remember every loss, we don't remember every win. Like, of course, there's some wins that we'll remember. Like when we beat Michigan.
Yeah.
That was pretty sick. And then we lost 11-1 for the next
Beating,
game.
beating Michigan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty but yeah, no, those are the moments. Those are the memories that really mean the most. Okay, so do you guys have any specific questions for Lily? If not, you guys can always ask me questions and I can forward them to her after this call if you guys don't want them to get answered. But if anybody has questions, now is your time. Oh, Malia's our catcher. What was it like adjusting from travel ball to college ball?
I'm assuming that's for me, not for you.
No.
Oh, okay.
What was it like transitioning from travel to college for you?
Um, I would say it was, I would say the biggest adjustment for me as a pitcher was that when you are playing travel ball and like, trying to play at the highest levels and getting as much exposure to like the best players that you can, um, even then on travel ball, usually it was like 4 or 5 players that were like really, really good, that you'd face, right? And in college, it was pretty much like the entire lineup was a challenge. There was no like, I don't want to say easy out because that's really not the best way to phrase it, but just like everybody has been preparing the same amount, going through the same um like workout, same preparations. And so from 1 to 9, you are in for a challenge and have to step up and beat this person. Um, and so I'd say from that perspective, that was probably the biggest change for me of just like needing to be on all the time versus like maybe being able to get away with a couple pitches or things like that where like your misses are going to be hit hard.
Yeah, that's so true. I think that goes on both sides. Like
Yes.
when you move, it's like everybody's good and everybody like, and I will say, obviously the workouts and like managing school, all of that.
Oh yeah. I'm
Lily
sorry. I'm
was a
thinking
pro at
strictly
that part.
gameplay, but
I
yeah,
know, but
just
I mean, that was probably why she asked. But
the
yeah,
time element and like that was a big change because you're also on your own for the first time. Like you don't have mom or dad dropping you off at practice. And so it's like you got to make it to practice on time. You got to make it to class on time. You have to make it to study hours and like make sure you're eating, just like a really basic thing. Like make sure you eat, make sure you shower, make sure you're like doing the normal human things on top of this. Um, so that's definitely a big adjustment, but like so worth it. So not to freak you out, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Lily was a pro at managing her schedule. I was like so lackadaisical with my schedule and totally was a procrastinator in a lot of things. Lily literally would put something in the crock pot before practice. And after practice for me, I would be like, I don't know what I'm eating. I have no idea. But Lily's like, no, I put that in at noon. Like I put in
Yeah.
my
Honestly, I'm still like that. Food is by far the most important thing for me, and just making sure that I have something for dinner is super important.
you had quality things for dinner.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Amazing. Okay, I'm gonna ask Presley's question. If anybody else wants to stay on afterwards, we can probably stay for a couple more minutes. But Presley is a pitcher.
Okay.
When you aren't feeling confident, how do you make sure you still act like it? Do you ever fake it?
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things where like to a similar vibe of like the look good, feel good of just, putting on the game face that looking the part that if you're not feeling confident but are acting like you are, then pretty soon you will be. Um, and there's like certain tactics that I would use to like reset or try to like forget about the last thing that might not have made you as confident. Like, for example, if a home run was just hit off of you, that doesn't make you feel super confident. But if you're able to have a conversation with a teammate, I would brush off the pitching mound with my glove, get all the dirt off of it, and then it was like, okay, clean slate. If that still didn't work, I would like take a second and look at the flag, usually in the outfield, and just like take a couple deep breaths. And you just kind of like recenter, and then it's okay. Now I got to go perform again. And I think also some of the pieces of like when you aren't feeling confident, you can start to overthink and be like, I really need to make this hit this spot now, or I really need to do this. And like you even just explaining it, I'm already tensing up. And so the biggest thing with that is just to like, it's easy to say, harder to do, but just to relax and like trust your stuff that again, you've practiced this, you've been in this position at some point before. And so just really just going out and like playing your game, and then you'll get some successes or be like, wow, that was such a great pitch. Okay, I got this, and like really just build yourself back up.
And then you start looking for like little wins.
Correct. Yes.
You guys, like, it's so funny how her approach is so similar to things we talk about in like together about like taking something physical. Like her physical action was wiping the plate with her glove, or the mound with her glove. And like you guys, we've all worked on our routines. Like literally in January, we're working on routines and how we can like physically erase the thing that just happened. Do you pick up dirt? Do you throw it? Like these are things that I know sound funny sometimes, but the elite do. And that's how she was able to reset. And Presley, I'm so glad you asked that question because she answered it really well.
Hey, great question. I love it.
It's such a good question. Okay. We're a little bit over time, but can we all just say thank you really fast to Lilly for hanging out with us today? She nailed every question. I know I put her on the spot. Literally, it was 2 hours ago. She figured out she was doing this call.